Welcome, Guardians, to another episode of the Destiny Tracker podcast. I am your host, Jay, the content manager here at the Tracker Network. And joining me this week is my amazing friend and co-host, Jay Rambo919. Jay Ram, what's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. Hey.
Yeah.
Did you have a fun trip down in Florida?
I did have a fun trip down in Florida. I'm really excited. I'm not going to announce anything about my life tonight, but soon in the coming months with that, I'm really excited about. But if you follow me on Twitter, then you guys probably already get the gist of what's happening. But I'm excited.
Nice.
Thank you. Our special guest this week is Ramez. Ramez, welcome back to the show. Great to have you back.
Hello.
Welcome back. Alright guys, so we have a great show in store for you guys. We're going to start off as always with our content creator Q&A, and then we're going to dive into our Trials of the 9, we're going to dive into the 12, and then we're going to move on to our final segment, which is the last word. But before we dive into all of that, I do have a few announcements to make. So you guys can find the DTR podcast on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and the Google Play Store at Destiny Tracker Podcast. The show is recorded on Fridays at 7:45 p.m. Eastern, live on twitch.tv/DestinyTrack. If you guys would like to support the show, you guys can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and make sure to follow us on Podbean. Also, next week, our guest next week will be Paris. He is the host of Gamertag Radio and also a Guardian Radio contributor. And then on March 16th, we're going to have Anubis. He is the founder of Get Wrecked. And also, throughout the month, we're going to have a special guest co-host, and that is Darkside Royalty Joker. He will be back throughout the month to be our special guest co-host, which I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
All right, so Ramez, I'm going to pass it on to you. Do you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a full-time Twitch partner, mostly streaming Destiny and Variety, but mostly streaming a lot of Monster Hunter lately. And I've been streaming for about 4 years now, actually. And it's been great. Thank you.
So, how did you get into streaming?
Just random luck. I got lucky, and I was basically kind of just really good at a video game, and people like wanted to learn how I was so good. Not to sound cocky or anything, but people just wanted to know like my play style and stuff. And so the previous game I used to play, like nonstop DC Universe Online, I started streaming that just so my community on there, because I led a clan there, could see how I played and whatnot. And from there, I started learning about Twitch. And then Destiny came out and blew up on Destiny, and just discovered that I could make streaming a career and job. A job like I always wanted to have in the gaming industry. Not streaming, but just being a part of it.
Nice.
And so that's how I got started.
So where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Or where would you like to see yourself?
In 5 to 10 years?
I know, that's a hard question.
I don't even have the next 5 to 10 minutes planned. Maybe having a schedule would be great. Having a schedule. Maybe having insurance. I have no idea. If I ever quit streaming, I'd want to work like actually for either Twitch or maybe like a streamer talent agency or something, like helping streamers.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even working in esports. I don't know.
So
something
would
like
you like to stream for like the next 5 to 10 years, like personally?
I would love to, but I don't think I could like do it like as long, like doing 16-hour streams and stuff. I don't think I could do that. I could probably do it like part-time. Mm-hmm. I feel like as I get older, I just get worse and worse at whatever game I'm playing. So hopefully I get more entertaining though.
All right. So are you a hunter, titan, or a warlock, or all three?
Mostly titan lately, and that's funny because I didn't touch titan at all at D1. But the half shield, half shield for titan is like so essential for just carrying teams to victory because of the rocket spam and stuff. So titan.
So, I know that you do a lot of raid helps and things like that. So how did you get into things like that?
Pretty much boredom. When I used to stream D1, I streamed to a pretty small audience, and the few people there would come in and say hi and whatnot, and then I'd finish all of my dailies and weeklies for 3 characters and be bored and have nothing to do. So I would just ask if anyone needed help. And then they'd say, yeah, I need help with this or that. And it started with Nightfall. And then people were asking help for with raids, and I was like, I can't help with raids. That's too difficult. And then I tried it, and it's like, oh, okay, it turns out I can help people with raids. And that's where it started, was just like offering help and people wanting it. And now it's turned into such a huge thing, you know, with trials and raids and with anything else, really.
All right. So, J-Ram, I'm going to pass it on to you, man, for your questions.
Yeah, just to follow up, what was the first raid that you actually started helping people out with?
The very first one, Bolt of Glass.
Bolt of Glass? So you were there from day one?
Yep.
And what attracted you to actually helping people out with that raid? Because that raid for some could be it could be very difficult, especially when you're one of the people, like say at the end with Atheon, you get pulled into either Venus, or, you know, future Venus or past Mars.
It was very difficult indeed, because I don't think I was even like level 30. You had to have like someone back in the day, like their loot system and like the way you progressed was like completely RNG based. And so like if you didn't have like someone who was at least 29 or 30 holding the relic and you got teleported to Mars or Venus, you got one shot pretty fast. So I think the most difficult part was finding people who were actually willing to do it and didn't want to just spend hours trying to push Atheon off the map.
Right.
But always like, because I also had a Warlock. Not that many people had Warlocks, and people always wanted me to push him off the map, and I refused to do it.
Did you at least do it once?
I mean, when people would tell me to try to do it, it's like, okay, I'll try. I don't really know how to do it, because I've never really done it.
I've never done it either.
Yeah.
Like by the time I did that raid, it was already patched, so I couldn't.
Eventually, I learned to just have, I think, like at least 2 or 3 helpers with me to make it easier for people.
Okay.
So that's what I did to make it easier.
What raid in particular did you like helping people through the most?
I can tell you I hated Kingsfell the most, at least helping people with it. It was so difficult.
Really?
People could literally get stuck on any section of the raid. It was just a crapshoot. They could fail at jumping, they could fail at totems, they could fail at sisters, they could fail at Golgoroth, they could fail at orcs. Every part of the raid, there was a chance to be stuck at for hours. Favorite, though? Maybe... I like to say maybe Crota, just because it was so easy for me to carry with sword. It was so easy. Like, even to the point to where I was like carrying Gathalion on a regular basis. I don't know what it was about like Crota and sorting it that just came so naturally to me. Well, but probably Crota.
Do you guys remember when you would like LFG and all you had to do was I can run sword, and you'd have like 50 messages spammed at you at once?
Oh, you'd like just come into groups that had been stuck there for hours, and if you just had one person that was good at sword, that was it.
That's all you needed.
It was like a bad design for raid, I feel, because just one person carried the team. Good design for anyone just trying to like carry a team, though. So
you have a lot of experience within raiding. In fact, I don't know if our viewers or our listeners are currently aware of this, but you've done the new raid, which is the Leviathan, over 500 times, correct?
The new raid and Argos combined.
Right?
I have the count right here.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's not my chat. I just realized. Wow. Okay. Something like 300 something, 350-ish Leviathan raids and 150-ish Argos raids, something like that.
Okay. Now, because you have so much experience in the raid and everything, and if people are wondering like what your loadout is, what loadout do you actually recommend to go into the raid?
Well, I feel you always want to have 2 Titans, just for half shields on every other plate. Loadouts, I mean, Wardcliff Coil is just standard for killing any gold enemy really fast, and for boss damage. Have any rocket launcher with clusters. As far as your primary and energy weapon is concerned, anything is viable early. Which is nice. But if
I was just
on
going to
the
ask you
boss
that.
fight, on the boss fight itself, like auto rifles, like energy auto rifles for like whether you're in the void room doing skulls,
Okay.
or DPS outside on Callus and stuff.
So you mentioned that, you know, primary and energy weapons, it doesn't really matter what you have. Do you like the current weapon format, which is, you know, primary, or what is it now? Kinetic, energy, and heavy, or power? Yeah. Or would you like to see it refer back to Destiny 1, or maybe a hybrid of the two? And if so, why?
Destiny 1 system I feel was a little better.
Okay.
I feel like with the new system, like you're reliant on using rocket launchers to get like optimal DPS on everything. And like I miss sniping bosses in the face. I do. So like you can't like spam your rockets and then switch to a sniper like you could in D1. It's just spam your rockets now. So I miss being able to snipe and use a shotgun like more readily and still be able to use a rocket launcher. So okay. I don't know how you could do a hybrid system. Maybe a little interesting though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know either. I was kind of hoping you come up with something good with that one, because I got nothing on that one. Now, you streamed a lot of D1, and you definitely streamed D2. Do you stream Destiny 2 as much as you did Destiny 1 though?
Definitely not.
Okay,
definitely
and
not.
Why do you think that?
Well, I feel like most people and content creators have kind of hit a brick wall with what to do in the game.
Okay.
You know?
So what do you? Oh God, I'm sorry. I interrupted you. My bad.
The recent updates have been great, but they've just made getting everything easier, especially the raid updates. Raid updates have made everything so much easier to get, to where like, okay, now the people that haven't been doing the raid, like it's easier for them to do the raid, but now once they do it, they have the majority of the loot. And they have less incentive to do it the next week. So
yeah, that's one thing I really don't understand with how the loot is actually, you know, given to the player. It just seems like it's just thrown at you like it's Halloween candy, and I just don't get it. Mm-hmm. Like I really don't. So what games do you stream then other than Destiny?
I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter lately, and it's been teaching me a lot about why I've been playing that a lot more than Destiny.
How so?
Well, people have been saying bring back random rolls. That'll like bring back so much like replay value to Destiny. It's like Monster Hunter is a game that doesn't rely on like random rolls. It's just purely like end game progression on such a it's hard to describe it. So it's just end game progression on such a like complex level.
Do you think that if Destiny had that same, I guess, setup, that same model for grinding gear and everything that Monster Hunter has, do you think Monster Hunter would be having as much success as it is now?
I mean, they're two different games. Like okay. Monster Hunter did have like this was my first Monster Hunter game. And Monster Hunter apparently has had a long history of in a pretty big community. Yeah. And Destiny was so close with like being able to replicate what Monster Hunter has, and it sucks that they weren't able to deliver and keep it going. Mm-hmm. The closest thing I could find with Destiny similar to Monster Hunter was the Forge and the Osiris DLC. Was pretty much like grinding for materials and making weapons and stuff, which is what you do in Monster Hunter, you know. But in Destiny, it only lasted like a couple weeks, and then it was over, and then that's that, you know. If they figured out a way to extend that to where you were constantly grinding for materials, making new things, Destiny would have a real chance to like bring people back, you know, especially if you could grind the raid out for like materials to make cool things, you know.
So here's my question. Is it like, do you feel that Destiny 2's loot is not rewarding because it's mostly cosmetics and not how it was back in D1? Could like that be a factor?
It's a lot of things, really. I mean, people love cosmetics. Yeah. So it's a lot of things. Like, like weapons that stand out. Like, and the fact that they made like the weapons so much easier to get. Like when I saw Monte Carlo, or not Monte Carlo, what's Midnight Coupe? I don't know why I confused the two. When I saw Midnight Coupe for sale on the vendor, I was so disappointed because I was so excited to like get it as a drop finally, and like I had made like a clip about it and was so happy that I got this one drop I was looking for, and then they sell it in the vendor. You know, it was like, oh, I guess suddenly doesn't feel that great getting this. And now you can get it from like any drop. You can get the Midnight Coupe from like any raid, any part of the raid, and it's like, oh, you're not even like looking forward to it like from Callus anymore. It's like,
So, overall, why do you think you are streaming a lot more Monster Hunter than you are Destiny 2?
Well, I love the progression in Monster Hunter. Like, the battles are really fun. Learning new weapons and stuff. Like I've about fully learned 3 out of 14 weapons in about almost 300 hours of gameplay, and I still don't have those weapons completely perfected. Just learning them and learning all the little nuances. There's still aspects of the game I haven't really messed around with. Different loadouts and playstyles to experiment with that like are really change up the way you play in the game itself. Just so much incentive to keep grinding and like making new things and experimenting. Whereas in Destiny, I feel like you're pretty limited to just always using the same thing to like beat the content. It's always cluster launchers or Wardcliff, maybe a shotgun. Snipers and linear fusion rifles completely irrelevant. So,
Yeah, see, because and my, and this is just my opinion. I don't think Destiny is that bad of a game. Although I do think it doesn't do anything special. You know what I mean? Like, how can I say this here? It doesn't do anything really bad, but it doesn't do anything really good. And with D1, they did a lot of really good things. I think, for example, like you said, the whole issue with the Midnight Coup, I felt the same way you did. I remember the tweet that you actually put out where you were like, you know what, this is kind of depressing. You know, that here's this one gun that's like amazing and it's awesome, and this is something that you could see yourself grinding for. Now, all you gotta do is go buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it completely, it takes away from that whole aspect of looter shooter. Now it's just go pick it up. You know what I mean? It's like the way I think of how Bungie decided to dish out the Trials of Osiris, or I'm sorry, Trials of the Nine gear, the raid gear, and now even some of the vendor gear. It's like a convenience store. It's just, you just go right down the road and get it real fast. Like there's no grind to it. There's no feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah.
I know in D1 I had a lot of feeling of accomplishment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, oh, I'm sorry, Jay, what were you going to say?
Oh, no. I was just going to ask you, so how can they improve it?
I think...
In your opinion.
Well, if you want to transition into the Nightfall Strike, with the strike scoring, super good step. That's a really good first step. I know I did it, and we the first time we did it, we wiped off of something really dumb. It was like a Cabal threw a grenade and just blew us up, and I was like, son of a bitch, you know. But it was the first time where I actually had like an emotional response, and I was like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna really kick your ass. So we went back in and we really thought about, you know, what we wanted to do, and you know, make sure that if somebody threw down a tether, make sure somebody else is using the super, that way we could regenerate orbs and everything. Keep distance, you know, but still team shoot certain enemies. And we ended up with like 83,000 points.
Nice.
And I remember putting my controller down, and I could see that I had a little bit of sweat on that controller. Like I was like, oh man, I was really playing there for a second. Now, it was a really good time. It was a good time. It was, I think what I tweeted out was, finally something was worth my time investment. Now, if you add really cool loot with that, like you know what I mean, like strike specific loot where if you get a certain score, you can only get this piece of armor or this gun. That is a really solid first step. You know, it was like the first time where it's like you got to watch what you do, because we all had that argument before where Destiny kind of didn't feel powerful. Like you didn't feel like you were powerful. Now you kind of do. You know, one thing I would like to see though is more variety in mods. You know, the solar singe, the arc singe, and the void singe. That's okay. I mean, it's cool. Yeah. I would like to see more mods though, more things that we can put on there to kind of mess with the multiplier a little bit. You know, so I know this is a first step. I'm not going to hammer it, but D1 they had the system. Now they're trying to get back to that system. It's really cool that they're giving us the option to pick that system. You know, to pick the framework on how we want to go through that raid, which is really cool. I'm sorry, strike, which is really, really cool. Did you guys happen to do the Nightfall strike yet?
I did not. I just came back, so I haven't even had a chance to play anything yet. So no, I have not. Ramez, have you had your chance?
I tried it. I got that same feeling you did about with the Nightfall, like just feeling accomplished and like having a goal to strive for. But I feel like at the end of the day, people are gonna get tired of Nightfall again, and unless the rewards are really worth it, they have to really nail those rewards if they want to keep people playing it. Because I hadn't played Nightfall for like 2 or 3 months, I think.
I'm with you, absolutely.
I'm with you on that one, yeah.
And so if the rewards are not worth it, it's going to be the same, honestly. And I think the new rewards come out on the 27th, right?
March 27th, yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm honestly not going to be like playing the Nightfall much until then, because I'm interested in those rewards. The cosmetics and the aura are nice and all, the high scores, but it's all about the rewards we get.
It's all about right now. It's all sprinkles on the cake. Give me the actual cake. That's what we're looking for. Because you're right, emblems are cool. They're all right. Let's be honest. I don't give a shit about emblems. I really don't.
No,
it's cool to have. It's cool to kind of show off. Oh, I got 83,000. That doesn't mean shit though.
Yeah.
Give me guns. Give me armor. That when I go into those activities, it changes the way that I actually approach that activity.
Yeah. Well, now that we're talking about this, like Ramez, what is your opinion on the emblems?
I do not like the new system of like how you have to equip an emblem to have an aura. That's the one thing I really dislike. Okay. I really dislike that. I feel like it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, honestly.
I echo Ramez a little bit.
Yeah.
I just don't care about the emblems.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be honest with you. I want to go back to the flaming head.
Yeah.
I think that Halo thing. The flaming head was really cool.
It's like they really put so much emphasis on the auras now. Like yes, we did cry for them back and like beg them, but now they're putting too much work into that. I don't know how much manpower is going into it though, but I feel like they're taking it too far. Or is that?
Yeah.
Would you guys agree with that? Because it seems like aura is definitely a part of the end game now.
Jay, this is what I really hope for. I really hope that in retrospect, come March 27th, when we get this big update, all right, we look back on it and go, oh, I understand why they gave us the aura and why they gave us emblems. It's because all this new stuff that we have is badass, and they focused all the resources and manpower on that. That would be really cool. If they just come out there with like, guns that are just reskins and they do the same exact thing and there's nothing fancy about it, it's not going to go over that well.
Ramez, I saw you made that face when I was talking about the auras. What's your opinion on that? I mean,
the auras, they don't even like, you can't even consider them endgame. They're just purely cosmetic, and they don't add anything. At least like in D1, you got like extra experience and stuff. Like if they added like special abilities to you, like for having a specific aura on, I mean, that'd be really cool and worth grinding for.
Yeah.
But I feel
cosmetics are in game. Sorry to cut you off, but like that seems to be the end game now.
Oh, it's then you get like start talking about like Eververse and whatnot. How you're grinding for
I wasn't even
rooms.
going to like talk about that. I was just saying just in general and other things like, because raid perks are like, do you guys find them special?
What do you mean, like with the new mods that you can put on?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, but
they're nice.
yeah. There's nothing. They don't do anything bad, but they don't do anything great. They're nice.
Okay.
I feel they're lazy. Like, I feel like this, instead of adding more damage, like, make it to where, like, in Gauntlet, like, you can maybe, like, run faster or something, you know? Make it for dogs, maybe, like, you're more stealthier or something, you know? But just adding more damage, I feel, is, like, lazy. Like, in D1, like, the raid perks were very specific to, like, specific encounters and stuff, and specific things you had to do, not just pure damage.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall that meeting where they said, all right, what's going to be our end game? And somebody said, you know what, let's just make everything cosmetic because people like to look good. And they said, okay, fine, let's do that. Like, that makes zero sense to me. You know,
people like cosmetics. But...
Oh, no, I get that. But at the same time, to not have raid-specific perks on raid gear in your second version of your game makes zero sense to me. I mean, this isn't like, oh, we're going to try this experiment out. You know what I mean? I mean, it was Vault of Glass had raid-specific stuff. You want to shoot an Oracle and you got this one gun, it's going to burn the Oracle faster for you now. There's nothing like that in this game. And hopefully they bring that stuff in. I'm hoping, like I said, March 27th, or even with these, you know, hypothetical big fall update, where it's the taken clean or whatever the hell you want to call it. I hope we look back and go, boy, we sounded like a bunch of idiots because they nailed everything. Like, I want to be wrong. I do. You know? I just... Right now, the strike is pretty good. I want to see better guns, better ammo. Or ammo, what a dumbass. Better armor and everything. And, yeah, I'm you know, I'm just going to piggyback off whatever Ramez says, I'm going to go with.
Ramez, last point. What are your thoughts on the new raid system that will be coming in with the whole loadout? I totally forgot the name of it. But you know what I'm talking about, right? The whole loadout system. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? I see that face.
It's like, why? It's like, it's like, why? Like, I remember them saying like they didn't want to lock your loadout because they wanted people to have the freedom to like like use whatever they want. And
totally
like
remember that also.
I feel like them having the lock those specific catered loadouts is with like specific buffs like for those weapons is just an excuse for them to not balance those weapons for the raid. It's like we would be using those weapons without you making us use them if you just made them better, you know? So
yeah,
I don't like it at all. I don't.
All right, guys. So let's move on to my favorite segment, which is the most fun you guys had in video games this week. I didn't really play video games this week, so I can't really talk about it. So J-Ram, I'm gonna pass it on to you, man. What did you play this week?
What did I play this week? What did I play? Well, The Division.
Yes.
Global events are every weekend for this month.
Nice.
Every single weekend. It's a new global event, so that's badass. I played Destiny a lot. I did like I said, I did the Nightfall Strike with my boys. It was fun again. It was like, you know what I mean? Like you were really trying to push yourself to get that score. So I really like that. And whoever created Puyo Puyo Tetris is an asshole because I cannot, for the life of me, have a consistent, win streak on that game. Now, I got a little... Yeah, you ever hear Puyo Puyo Tetris?
No.
All right, so it's Tetris, right? And without getting too specific into it, Puyo Puyo is another game. They combine the games together, but it's Tetris. And you can play against other people or you can play against the computer. So let's say, for example, you have on your screen a Tetris all lined up. And then you got that real skinny long block. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You throw it down there and boom, you get a Tetris. All those blocks that you just created a Tetris with goes over onto the other person's screen from the bottom up. So it pushes all their blocks up. I'm playing this game on medium difficulty, and I get my ass handed to me all the time. So either either I'm really bad
Mm-hmm.
or that game is really difficult. But it is really fun and it's addicting because it makes me want to try harder.
Is it on your phone? Is it an app?
No, it's a Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's it. I've been working. We're getting ready for spring break, so
Nice.
I'm preparing for exams and everything, and I know I got to grade shit over spring break, so that's it.
All right.
So I'm trying so hard for the 5 P's of life, or actually, if you want to call it the 6 P's of life, because we're not in class, I can share that with you, Jay, if you'd like.
Sure.
6 P's of life: proper preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Huh.
There you go. So right now, I am trying my hardest to be prepared. That way, I can grade everything in a day and have my entire spring break open.
Yes. Always do your work first so you can enjoy your break. That's something my mom
Proper-
always told me back in school.
Yep. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you could throw piss poor in there, now you got 6 P's of life.
All right, Ramez, I'm going to pass it on to you, man. Your most fun this week in video games.
Probably something in Monster Hunter.
Nice.
Definitely something in Monster. Probably learning to use the greatsword in Monster Hunter. At first, I thought when I was trying to pick what weapons I would use, like looking at greatsword, I was like, it's just a big weapon you hit things with, and like it's not going to be fun. Now it's my favorite weapon. It's so fun. It reminds me of using a really big weapon in Dark Souls or something. And I've like made the perfect build for it, so that made me really happy. Yeah, I think this grinding in Monster Hunter has been completely fun. Even if it's just monotonous and long, it's still really fun.
You said one thing, Ramez, in what you were just talking about there. One word was build.
Yeah.
And I really hope Bungie is looking at all these other games and is noticing that a lot of these other games have these builds within their game, like armor builds or weapon builds, because it would be so badass to like get a whole Vanguard set of armor and then it unlock a special perk that only works when you have all this armor, or like in a Division, there are certain weapons they're exotic weapons that if you have both of them equipped, you get this special perk, this special talent, or it just, here's what I'm afraid of. Destiny 2 is the only game like this that we have right now, right? However, other games are really starting to, extract people out of that loophole or out of that player pool, like Monster Hunter, for example, Fortnite for another example, okay? PUBG is another example, because they offer something that Destiny 2 doesn't.
Yeah.
And right now, these other games are noticing what people like, and they're putting that stuff in their game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not going to take credit for this. It was T-Teth from DCP. He's the first person that I've heard say it. So I'm going to credit him for this. I'm going to cite him. But he said this community right now, not community Bungie, or Destiny, but the just player base of people who like looter shooter type games. There is a huge gap right now. And if one game came through and addressed those issues, it would completely annihilate all these other games. Do you know what I mean? Anthem may be that game. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know the first thing about it. But I know as soon as you saw it, everybody started comparing it to Destiny 2. And in fact, some people thought it was Destiny 2 because they started off with this big wall and everything. I'm like, and you're like, oh my God, is that the tower? Like, is that the last city?
Yeah.
But yeah, and Ramez, you nailed it with, these, learning how to use these builds and trying to get these builds. That's fun shit, man. And it's really interesting. And if Bungie could just tap into that, man, I mean, that would satisfy so many people. I'm sorry, Jay. Let's hear.
I was just gonna say, Anthem will be playable at E3 this year in June, so we're gonna see our first gameplay of Anthem, which I'm really excited about. I'm actually trying to go out there to E3, but I just don't know yet because the EA Play event is free. It's a first come first serve.
Yeah.
The new Battlefield will be there, but Anthem will probably steal the show. If it's good, it will steal the show.
Well, they're going to give you that one mission or whatever that really shines. Like they know that. Because they gotta move disc. They gotta sell the game.
Yeah, and then we're due for a beta later this summer for Anthem, sometime in the summer or early fall or something like that.
Wow.
So that's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see how Anthem is going to be. I'm always looking at their job postings online to see what positions are open there, just to see how the game is going to be and stuff like that. So I'm excited. All right, guys. So
I'm stoked.
Did you guys play Faction Rallies? Was it last week? Yeah, last week. Future World Cult lost again. So I only got to play for last Tuesday, and that's it. Because Wednesday I left. So I sadly could not contribute enough. But New Monarchy won for the third time in a row. Which faction did you guys root for? Or if you guys even played? Ramez, you first.
I played a little of it. The previous Faction Rally, I got the New Monarchy gear for my Titan and Hunter, and so I was happy. This Faction Rally, I didn't really play at all. The weapons really weren't that great. Yeah. So I had no incentive to really go for one. So didn't really play it much, sadly.
Fine. All right. J-Ram.
Yeah, I pledged to Future War Cult because I wanted just some of their shaders. That's it. And I got really bored with it like within like 2 hours. So then I quit because there's just no incentive. It's not that fun. It's just not that fun.
Yeah. How about Crimson Days? I know that was weeks ago, but we haven't talked about it here. So you guys play Crimson Days. Ramez, I see you have that face. What are your thoughts on that?
Did I play? Oh, you know what I did? I played Trials during that week because I wanted to play Burning Shrine. I didn't actually do the doubles. I didn't have a doubles partner because I'm lonely. But I did Trials, and Burning Shrine was alright. It's funny how I missed the outside part being really so sunny. It made a clear distinction between the inside and outside sections of the map, and Burning Shrine felt just completely different, just being completely dark now.
Yeah.
So that's the one part of Crimson Days I did play.
Sweet. J-Ram.
No, I didn't play it at all. They're PvP is not that fun, and there's zero incentive.
I did play Crimson Doubles and some of Trials during that weekend, but I didn't really enjoy it too much. I know I've heard a lot of great things about it, but I do not enjoy the sandbox currently and the guns and all that. So that's why I didn't really play it too much, but I did dive into it just to see how it was. And then I stopped. So that's that. But Iron Banner is returning this Tuesday, March 6th, and it ends Tuesday, March 13th, and the game mode is Clash. Will you guys be playing Iron Banner? J-Ram. I know it's PvP.
Yeah, no, I will play it until I get that auto rifle. Yes. And then I will quit.
So the weapons available will be the pulse rifle, grenade launcher, and the auto rifle.
Yeah, so as soon as I get that auto, I'm out.
All right.
It's 6v6, correct?
Yeah.
I think so. I'm this current one,
gonna try
is it 6v6? Because I was looking in the 12. I have it printed.
No, Jay, I think you're right. I don't think this one is 6v6.
Yeah, I don't think this one's 6v6.
It's the next one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because in the next part of the 12, they do talk about it coming in 1.1.4, and that's coming on March 27th. So I don't think this one is 6v6.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. I was wrong. Yeah. But still doesn't change my mind. I don't care if it was 6v6, 12v12. As soon as I get that auto, I'm out.
All right. Ramez, you interested?
In Iron Banner?
Yeah.
I really can't wait for the sandbox changes because PvP just feels really, it doesn't feel as fun. And it feels even less fun on console compared to PC. On PC I can get away with using hand cannons and doing well, but on console it's just a strict auto rifle submachine gun meta.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, can you expand upon that a little bit? Because I have D2 for PlayStation and I have it for PC, and I will not play it on PlayStation anymore. I have no desire to play it.
Just on PC, the hand cannons they feel so much better. They feel so usable and viable.
Do you think? And I hate bringing this up, but do you think it's because the 30 versus 60 frame rate?
I don't think it's that at all. No, it's I think it's just something with like the way the way hand cannons lock on console versus no lock on PC. So you're free to have as much accuracy as you want, and they don't limit it.
Right.
So if you're accurate on PC, it'll shine with a hand cannon, whereas it doesn't really help as much on console.
Because I remember when the console version finally came out, and I remember playing it, and I remember telling my friends, they were like, "What's different about it?" I'm like, honestly, the game is the exact same. Shooting feels entirely different.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, okay, if everything's the same, what's the difference? And it's the frame rate. So that's why I asked you, because you're another cross-platform person. Do you think it's the frame rate?
Frame rate is part of it, but just the guns behaving differently, like auto rifles, like especially on PC.
Yeah.
Like they have like no recoil whatsoever. Like it's really hard to miss with an auto rifle if you just put the crosshairs on the target. Like your bullets do not bounce like around and stuff. It's just straight laser beam. So
well, why don't they change that then for the consoles to make it similar?
It's because the auto aim, it'd probably make it too easy.
Okay.
And stuff. So
all right. Wait, I do have a question though about the sandbox. So they are making changes to the sandbox, but are they changing the time to kill? Because I don't remember seeing anywhere that they've talked about time to kill changing. Only that the guns are changing.
Yeah, I didn't see anything, but I did see a tweet from I can't remember his name right now, from Bungie, that said the sandbox people are aware of the time to kill issue.
Okay, because I'm just thinking, if the sandbox changes but time to kill does not, will that really like make people, I don't want to say happy, but I'm just going to say happy.
I don't want to say happy, but I'm going to say it.
Well, I think they're hoping that like making everyone faster will increase time to kill, but it's not really, sadly.
Yeah.
So
because it is going to become 6v6. So if it's like the team shooting still, I don't see 6v6 being enjoyable. I don't think that's going to fix, of course, that's not going to fix the PvP problems.
I don't know, man.
These maps, I don't like.
Yeah, the maps are not made for 6v6.
Yeah,
the maps are made for 4v4. So how that's going to work? Like, I have all of these questions, and I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. I thought maybe you guys saw something. I've been MIA for 2 weeks, so I don't know. No.
Nope, they have not, and that's not good because
they're aware. That's all we know. They're listening.
They're listening, but I mean, like every month they don't listen. Like every other game is building traction. New games are coming out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because it's just like, I know that they're working on a sandbox update, but we don't know if time to kill will be changed. We know 6v6 is coming. We don't know how that's going to play out on the maps. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how that's going to work out. And then my next thing that's still boggling my mind is that, so they're bringing back Mayhem into the weekly playlist and Rumble and doubles, but it's not going to be consistent. So I've seen a lot of people have an issue with Rumble not being a permanent playlist. It's just going to rotate out. What are your thoughts on that? J-Ram, I'm gonna go to you first.
First, I think it's a terrible move. Mm-hmm. Second, and I'm only speculating because obviously I'm not in those board meetings.
Yeah.
I don't think they can make it a separate playlist because PvP already is suffering badly with player pool. Mm-hmm. So if you make this a separate playlist, now you're splitting up the player base. Mm-hmm. So, do you really, at this point, knowing that very few people are playing compared to what you had in the previous 3 years of a different game, mm-hmm. Do you want to separate that player base?
Mm-hmm. No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the main reasons why a lot of games got rid of this is how many people are playing in this playlist right now. Mm-hmm. Like Call of Duty used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Now they don't. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because maybe if people see, oh, there's 400 people playing in this playlist, I'm not going to play in that.
Yeah.
There's not enough. So I think they have to do it. Not that they want to do it, maybe they have to do it.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's going to even hurt the game that more because they're not putting it in the game. Like I've seen a lot of, I don't want to say pro Destiny players, but like some partnered streamers are such as Triple Rex say, no, like this is a bad idea having Mayhem and Rumble and Doubles not a permanent playlist and just having it rotate. And a lot of people agree.
I think it's you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah. Ramez, your thoughts on that?
Completely agree with all of that. It's a terrible idea not to make at least Rumble a permanent playlist. There's so many people that just want a PvP solo, you know?
Yeah.
I think that definitely like outnumbers people who want to play in a team, just solo players. You know, to not have a Rumble playlist for those people that just want to play by themselves and not have to worry about people teaming on them. You know, that's terrible idea from Bungie. It's like of course there are tons of solo players, you know?
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
yeah, I think at least Rumble should be permanent playlist. And why they haven't like put out what was it in Destiny 1, the playlist
the
where
freelance.
There should be a freelance playlist for people, so people don't have to worry about going up against teams. There should be a freelance playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree, but you know, I don't think there's enough people playing for them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scary part.
Oh, you guys have the numbers, so I don't know like exactly like how many players you need to fill up a playlist.
Mm-hmm.
So
8. You need 8.
And they're also increasing the Rumble player count to 8. What are your like on paper? It sounds good, at least to me. But I'm curious to see how it's going to play out in game. We don't know if time to kill is going to change or anything like that. Ramez, like your thoughts on the player count being increased to 8?
I just hope they did some real testing, like of like how this plays out. You know, it's like you can't just like have these maps designed for 4v4 and then just add more players to them and just expect everything to work out. Like you need new maps like totally customized for all these new players. It might be amazing, it might be disastrous, you know? It might not change anything. It's like a shot in the dark, you know?
I feel like with a lot of these changes that they are trying to bring into the game they really have to change the game though, because Crucible was built for a slower time to kill and 4v4, and the weapon system was built to have 2 primaries and a power, and now everyone wants back the primary, secondary, heavy, and then the 6v6. So I feel like they really have to change the core part of the game, and I think it's gonna be a challenge for them. I'm really curious to see how they handle that and fix it.
We're living in exciting times, Jay.
I'm really curious to see what they're going to do, because don't forget, we know how their contract is. They still have to make another expansion and then an expansion in fall, and they're still due for another full release game. So I'm really curious to see how they're gonna handle all of that. But they're also making some Crucible changes. They're changing the match time to 12. The scores. Oh no, that's for Iron Banner. I'm sorry. They're changing it to 6v6. The match time is being increased to 12. The score limit is being increased to 125 points. The respawn time is 7 seconds. All control zones start off neutral. Control zones. Wait. Question. Isn't it now that they're not neutral? A and C are always capped for your team, so you all automatically have to run to B. Is that yes or no?
I wouldn't know. I don't.
I believe so.
So they're changing it
Iron Banner in months.
Not even regular Iron Banner, just control. It's A and C are already capped for your team, and everyone has to run to B. So they're changing it back to everything has to be neutral. Control zones take slightly longer to capture by default. Additional guardians max of 3 in a zone increases capture speed. But now it's like you only need 1 guardian and it doesn't increase it. Because I'm just like rereading all of this, and I'm like, back before D2 launched, they were talking about these exact things, such as the cap zone being capped for 2. A and C are already capped, and you only need 1 guardian because to make it more competitive. And now they're changing it back to how it, not fully back to how it was, but back to how it was before.
In D1.
Yeah, in D1. Wow. They're really undoing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, I think, but the critical question that we need to ask is, why did they change it to begin with?
Yeah.
You ever hear that phrase, if it's not broke, don't fix it?
Yeah.
It wasn't broke.
I'm going to go back to that IGN First interview with Lars when he talked about all of this and see what their philosophy was for changing it, because I'm just confused as to why they're undoing their changes. Like, they're just pressing undo on their computers and just undoing stuff. Yeah, I'm just curious. But what are your thoughts on that, Ramez? I'm just gonna pass it on to you, man.
I feel like they're desperately trying to figure something out with PvP.
I can see that.
They're in a weird situation because at the end of Destiny 1 Year 3, everyone was complaining about PvP, and it seemed like everyone hated it, but everyone was still playing it, though. Right. It was fun, but they hated playing it. It was so weird, you know?
It was a lot of fun, but I just hated it.
Destiny 2 was like, PvP was made to be the opposite of Destiny 1 because it seemed like everyone hated it. But now look, it's everyone hates it and it's not fun. So
let me ask you this question then, because you both admitted I hated it, but I still played it. Why did you still play it then? Like, what kept you coming back?
It was still fun and you felt powerful. It was fun and you felt powerful. Like in Trials and all that. Man, I hated the palindrome. I hated getting killed by palindrome or 1,000-yard stare or the LDR or the, oh my god, I forgot that blue snipe, the longbow. I hated getting killed by those. But it was so satisfying when I killed someone using those weapons. It was just satisfying, and the mowing someone down with Doctrine of Passing and the palindrome. But now it's just not fun when I'm trying to play and then I see 3 guardians just come around the corner and they just all mow me down one together. Like, it's just not fun being team shot, or like even the shooting some of the guns in Crucible is just not satisfying to me like how it was. I know I just went on like a whole soapbox, but Ramez, you?
It's funny, like D1 had some of those issues. Like at the end of D1, like Trials was the other 3 people aiming down the hallway with sniper rifles versus like the other 3, and people hated that. The thing is, what people did is they just got better at sniping and like became better snipers. Now, like, you don't really want to be better at like just using an auto rifle. It's boring. You want to be the best sniper, or the best person with a shotgun. But it's not. But you don't really get that reward in D2 for being that person. You really don't. So.
And even I've heard a lot of people say that they hated Year 1 Crucible with the Thorn and Last Word, and now I'm starting to hear a lot of people say they love that. They love that, just mowing people down with the Last Word and Thorn. So it's just really, even the shotguns with like infinite range. But it was just fun because you felt powerful, and now you don't feel much powerful. And I'm just curious to see what they're going to do to fix that.
Right, and that's why I asked that question, because you both said you hated it. Well, but you kept coming back. So it's like, well, what was the carrot on the stick then? Like, why did you keep going back if you didn't like it? So I totally see that, because you kept going back. I think maybe a better way to say it is because you two are competitive. You wanted to be competitive.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't feel competitive.
Even the end of D1, like this time last year, Trials of Osiris still had more players than Trials of the Nine have now. So that says something. The game is not even a year old, and Trials has had more players back then than it does today.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had like 2 weeks off. And I'm just like letting it all out. Man, I also had another point to bring up, but I totally forgot about it. Wow. So yeah, are you guys at least excited that they're bringing Mayhem and Rumble back, and Doubles is coming back? JRAM?
Doubles I can care less about. Rumble I liked. I like playing Rumble. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Just curious to see how it plays out now.
And getting some emblems, more emblems.
All right, Ramez.
Definitely just curious to see how Rumble plays out. Mayhem is super fun. So I might check that out. But honestly, just try it for a day and that's it. If I like it, I might keep playing Rumble, but probably not. Probably just do weekly raids and then play whatever. So.
All right. So here's a tough question. Well, I think it's a tough question. What made Taken King so special back in 2015?
That is a good question. I wish you would have said that at the beginning of the podcast, so I had all podcasts to think about it.
Was it that the light level system, the sandbox changes, the new maps, the story?
Can we answer the question like this? Let's focus on one thing at a time.
Okay.
Okay. So story missions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the story mission was really good. It gave you the opening cinematics made you sit there and think, "Holy shit, who is this guy? He's definitely coming for us." And it gave you a purpose on fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, D2. I got the same feeling with Gaul. So if you look at those two storylines as they start, they're very similar.
Yeah.
Ramez, what about you?
Definitely, Taken King's story was just the best thing they've ever made.
Agree.
Even the raid, like, despite how difficult it was for everyone, it was so rewarding to get to finish it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly what the exact sandbox changes were to PvP. That was year 2, right?
Yeah.
Year 2 was often referred to as like the glory days for PvP, where it's like perfect. You know, everyone wants to go back to year 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was even like, I think, doing trials carries at that point too. I used to do like trials carries here and there. So I was actually decent at PvP back in the day because it was like really fun, and so you wanted to be better. Hopefully we get something like that in the fall, but they'd have to just revamp so much. Whatever new enemy they're going to come up with has to be something really menacing and just like have everyone in the story on edge and stuff.
Now, when you say new enemy, I don't want to say reskin because they're not I don't want to say reskin, but you know how the Taken, some people are like, they're not technically new. The Red Legion, they're not technically new. So when you say new enemy, are you talking about a different variant of the current enemy races that we have now, or a entirely different new enemy / race?
I mean, if we got the Taken Queen kind of stuff and more Hive and Taken, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
New factions, I think, are enough, but I mean...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a reskin is a reskin. It's hard to complain as long as the story is, you know, satisfying and stuff, and there's like that feeling of like urgency that you have to defeat this thing.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like feel that with the Osiris DLC at all. It felt really weird. It's like, this thing is a giant lobster, and what's it doing again? I'm not sure. So.
Now, I'm just asking this question because I feel like Bungie has so much to try to fix now than they did back in D1. So I'm just trying to feel like in order for them to make a Taken King 2.0 to make it feel great, how Taken King did, they really have to revamp a lot of things. Because back between D1 and Taken King, yeah, there were updates, but not as much as we are having now. So I feel like it's going to be much harder for them to really restructure the game, unless they're doing a lot of back-end work restructuring the game, preparing for the fall 2018 expansion. Does that make sense? I feel like they really have to like restructure parts of the game in order to make it special, because they have to sell the copies, clearly, like they have to sell. So does that make sense?
Yeah, Jay, that's the argument of, you guys had 3 years to build this new game, and what happened? That's the argument right there.
16 months. But no, continue. Sorry.
No. You're right. 16 months. If that's the argument and that's their answer, at least we know that's their answer. Mm-hmm. But they're never going to admit that, because at the end of the day, you're right. They have to sell. They got to sell copies of the game. Mm-hmm. You know, and I can understand that. But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see a similar situation with this fall update, provided we get one as we did in D1, which is you're probably going to see another enemy race. You're going to see major changes within the game development itself, as far as like how missions are how missions go, different perks on guns and everything. Like they definitely have to sweeten the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has to happen.
Yeah.
It just sucks that it has to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Dang, I just lost my train of thought. Ramez, I'll pass it on to you, man. Yeah.
On restructuring. What was that one game? Final Fantasy 14, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
The MMO one? I forget. They completely revamped that game because everyone was so disappointed with the final product, and they re-released it as Final Fantasy Realm Reborn. And I feel like they might have to do that with Destiny 2 at a certain point if the next DLC, not the fall one, if this next DLC doesn't cut it, they're gonna have to just redo everything from scratch, I feel. Even if it means reverting a lot of systems back to D1. And just have to redo everything. And just admit that they fucked up. Oh well, we're bringing back D1, you know?
Yeah.
I just have to do that.
They really
and no one would judge them for it, I feel.
Yeah.
No one would.
It's just that they really have to win back players. They have to bring them back. I know I've been saying that for each expansion ever since, like, from Taken King to now. They have to bring back players. But now this fall of 2018 expansion will make or break this game. Because right after, well, we can say that the fall 2018 expansion will launch in September. And then there are a lot of great games coming out in the fall of 2018 and early 2019. So they really have to win back players with this expansion, and I have no idea. I usually have some sort of idea of how they're going to do that and what they plan on doing, but now it's just like the train has derailed. I have no idea what they're going to do. Yeah,
I don't know either, man.
I don't know how
we live in exciting times.
Destiny Battle Royale, maybe that'll bring people back.
If they do it right. Now, again, everything they lay out always sounds good on paper. Always. The Curse of Osiris changes. Everything sounds good on paper until it's in game, and then in game is a disaster. Like, for example, guided games, which is a perfect transition to our next segment. So Bungie is searching for a game designer for the social side of the game. So your job here would be to work on the clan system, guided games, and how to improve the social systems in D2. If you guys got this job, how would you guys improve the social systems in D2?
Ooh, Ramez, you go first.
I'm
throwing it to you.
In D2.
Yeah. Think about it. With the guided games, it could be something simple as the current wait time. You have to wait in orbit or something. The clan system, just anything.
Oh, well,
any
guided games specifically is such a missed opportunity to incentivize people to help more. There's no incentive for people to help. You don't get anything cool for doing it. Do you get an emblem? I'm not sure, but they need to have more rewards, like maybe unique armor, even a unique weapon.
Yeah.
But if there was something to incentivize people to help others, people would do guided games for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's just been forgotten at this point.
Yeah.
As far as the social systems, though, I mean, they could do something like maybe introduce like a clan hub or something, you know?
Oh.
Clan hub
nice.
Where people can like hang out and just dance in their own little home base or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like it have like trophies of bosses you killed, or maybe clan leaderboards and stuff like that. These are things
in-game. Clan leaderboards in-game.
Clan leaderboards in-game. There's lots of stuff they could do with clans.
Yeah.
A lot of like MMOs have this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of social systems, I miss the farm. Like, there's nothing being done with the farm. Like, I really wish it was just more than part of this leveling up.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go back. It's really nice. It was really fun.
Yeah. And they marketed that so big, like the farm is brand new social space, this and this and this, and it just turns out the tower is back. Not the real, it's just the tower is back.
They dedicated a whole stream to that farm,
literally. And it's just, dude.
It almost makes me think like, who is running that?
If I was
dedicate an entire stream to that, and then they have it completely non-existent after
the campaign
unlocked. After the campaign.
Yeah, if I was a community manager, I will fight back and be like, yo, no. We cannot do a whole stream on that. Like, there's going to be some type of backfire to this. Like, it ends after the campaign. You literally just go straight to the tower, and that's where you are for the rest of the lifespan of the game.
Yeah.
But if I got this position, I will try to work with all the other teams to see how can we make PvE up to 6 players, because right now the player base is split between 4v4, 6 for the raid, and 3 for the strikes and patrols and all that. I will try to see how can we find a way to where if you are completing a raid, how can we bring at least, if not all 6, at least 5 or 4 of those people into some type of PvE activity. It could be a story mission or a strike, or even on patrol. How can we bring all 6 players into patrol to just go around and have fun, and even have some type of 6-player activities in patrol and make the world feel alive? Because Isle feels so dead to me. Even when I have 2 other people with me, Isle just feels dead. Yeah, just find a way to bring everything together, because this is a social game. It sucks when I have to break up my friends. I'd be like, all right, sorry guys, we're gonna go play Crucible. You two can't come. So, well, now they are changing it back to 6v6, but still, that should have been something that they had when the game launched. If this is a social game, not split up the whole player base.
Maybe open world bosses you have to take down with a full team of 4 or 6. Like, you have to find them randomly and on different planets. That'd be kind of cool. Other MMOs have that kind of stuff. So just open world bosses that require more people to take out.
Yeah. It's just JRAM. What would you do?
All right, so we'll go with the clan system thing first.
Okay.
All right. So the first thing I would do is I would go to the developers and I would say, I don't care how long it takes you, figure out a way that I can get people into guided games, okay, but allow them to complete activities while they're waiting for somebody to scoop them up. Like, that's a must, because there is nothing worse than going to that, and then you see the timer. Oh, you got to wait 45 minutes. Or 45 plus minutes in orbit. I mean, it's bullshit. And how did they not see that coming? Like, how do you not see that coming? First, that's the first thing I would do. As far as the social aspect, when I think of social, I think of like communication and everything. I don't know what you would do on PlayStation or Xbox. PC's easy. Right now, they just opened up chat. Right, you can opt in to text chat. It should be opt out. It shouldn't be opt in, because there are a lot of people who play this game, right, that do not read This Week at Bungie. There's a lot of people that do not, follow Ramez when he does weekly updates or when he talks about, oh, this is new in a game. There are a lot of people out there that don't check YouTube to figure out this stuff is there. So by making it opt-in, you never know that it's there. Now, if it was opt-out and you landed in a tower and all of a sudden on your screen you see all these people talking, you'd go, holy shit, what is going on here? Like, this is something new. This is something that, for the average person that doesn't follow that stuff, this is new stuff. Okay? I get why they don't want to do that. It's because they want to protect their younger players. But, I just think that's a punt. I think that's a bad excuse.
Yeah.
I really do. I heard other people, make their arguments about it, and I can respect their argument, and I can understand it. But at the end of the day, if you make the mute option an easy option, it's easy to do. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. As far as, like, more social aspect, now that I think about it, like, in Patrol, And they had this in D1. I don't know why it's not in D2, but they did have proximity chat. They had it for a little bit. And patrols, you got near someone, you can hear them talk.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
you had to opt in. That's the problem. You had to opt in.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that either.
So I don't know why they. I don't know why they always. And Jay, you've heard me say this before. Ramez, you haven't heard me say this. I don't know why they always pick the safe option. Mm-hmm. They always pick the safe thing to do. Instead of being a little bit experimental and instead of, kind of seeing where this thing leads, they just go, you know what? Let's just make it safe. That way, maybe they don't have to deal with shit. Dude, I can understand that.
Yeah. But
you're at a position in your game right now where they're, it's just not getting that great of reviews. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I don't think D2 is a bad game. I don't think it's a great game. It's an okay game. It's an okay game, and I don't want it to be okay. I want it to be something fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't want it to be a forgettable game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we all went to high school with people where you see them outside and you're like, I know that person, but I don't know that person. Like, you don't want to be that forgettable person. You want to put your stamp on something. Everybody wants to. Everybody wants to feel like they're a part of something special. And that they did something special. Mm-hmm. And I think D1 was that at the end of D1. I don't know. I just don't understand the missteps and always playing it safe. Stop playing it safe, man. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, to sum up, my two big things, guided games, let me do other activities while I'm waiting. Mm-hmm. And then social aspect, open up lines of communication so people can get together and talk.
Yeah. Or just some type of in-game LFG. Like, having guided games instead of an orbit at the tower. You go to, like, a little screen or something, a little board, and you got to press stuff. And, yeah, boom, you're matched up with the fire team. So,
yeah, I don't
know. Yeah. Well, they do plan on improving it.
I could be completely wrong with everything, too, so let's not forget that.
They do plan on improving guided games in the fall of 2018, so let's see how that goes and their details for all of that. I'm really curious to see. I'm actually really curious. Yeah.
Me too.
All right.
In regards, one more time to opting in, I completely forgot that you had to opt in on PC, and how long has it been out? A week? I completely forgot about that. Yeah, it's very important that it's opt out versus opt in, because I completely forgot about opting in. Completely forgot about doing that. So
yeah, it's one of those things where I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what the hell? It's like PlayStation's excuse for not having cross-platform play. They say they want to, they have an obligation to protect their younger players, and I get that. Mm-hmm. All right, but Minecraft is a game that is definitely catered and geared towards younger players, and yet you can play that cross-platform on everything except for PlayStation. Even Nintendo says, yes, let's open up lines of communication.
But then they do cross-play for Fortnite between PS4 and PC.
Yeah, they're talking out of their ass is what they're doing.
Yeah.
They just don't want to do it. Because if they got you locked in for the next 4 or 5 years buying a PlayStation 4, they got you as a customer for that long.
Yep.
Instead of having the argument, the argument we should be having is, oh man, Destiny 3 is coming out. What platform are you going to get it for? Well, the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 5, if it's in the future. Mm-hmm. You know what, man? That thing has, this processor and this much RAM in it. Yeah, but the Xbox, it kind of has that also, but it offers these other features. Instead of us arguing about what console has the better features and which one is going to fit our lifestyle more, mm-hmm. The question we have to answer is, well, which one are you getting, Bill? Because I'll just get that one. In other words, there is no reason for these companies, these console makers, to advance their consoles any further than the pace that they're going now. Because as soon as they get you locked in, they got you locked in for 6-7 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? Competition breeds excellence. That's what it does. You're always going to have a winner and you're always going to have a loser. If you're the loser this time around, work harder to be the winner next time around. And that's what people do. That's what companies do.
it's gonna be a long 2018. Seeing how
it'll be
the video
fine.
game industry changes and things like that. So just really quickly, I'm just gonna read over the Trials of the Nines. Poor stats from the past week. Under 200,000 matches played. Under 70,000 Guardians participated.
How many?
Under 70,000.
Under.
Yeah, that's
for
all
Trials of the
platforms.
Nine.
I had the exact number for each platform, but I totally lost it. I don't know where it went. I have to search for that later. Antiope D was the most used weapon. It had 653,000 kills. And usually, though, that kill number is usually in the millions for us. We usually do that in the millions, and now I'm just like, it's not even worth it. Saying it. Uriel's Give, 576,000, and then Maida at number 3 with 396,000.
70,000 people played over 3 platforms.
Yeah, last weekend.
Is this the lowest it's ever been?
Yes, last weekend was the lowest it's ever been.
And that was with Burning Shrine.
No. Last weekend was...
Was it?
No. Last weekend was... Oh, it was on a bad map anyway. Countdown on Emperor's...
Oh, that map. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's Trials there. So before we move on to our last segment, I just want to tell everyone the stories that I will be following over the next few weeks. As you guys may have heard or may have not heard, ESRB, that's the people who put the rating on the games, they have added if a game has any type of in-game purchases, it's now going to say that on the label. Yeah. So that's a story that I will be following. I do want to read more into it before I start talking about it, so I will be following that closely over the next few weeks. I'm really interested to see how that goes. And then there was an awesome article that I did not have a chance to read the whole thing yet. It was by US Gamer, and the title of the article is How Destiny 2 Failed Its Fan Base. I will be following that article. That came out on February 12th. I heard a lot of great things about it. So far, so good. I'm actually going to leave a link to that in the description of this podcast. I have the whole article printed out. So tonight, I will be annotating it and taking notes and things like that. And they have another article that came out from US Gamer, and I totally forgot the title of it. I had it up as a tab and I just lost it, which sucks. But as soon as I find it, I will leave that link in the description. And then, as you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, but the Activision CEO Eric Hushberg is actually leaving Activision this month. So I am curious to see who's going to take his spot as Activision CEO.
Luke Smith.
Mark Noseworthy. He's going to take it. But I'm really curious to see who's going to take that and if Bungie's contract is going to change at all. So that's going to be interesting if their contract does change.
Yeah.
That's going to be really interesting.
Well, and I hope it changes for the better. I really do. Mm-hmm. You know, I want, like I said, I can't stress this enough, man. I want this to be the best game there is. And sometimes it gets so frustrating and I come off like a jerk and salty. But I'm only passionate about it. That's it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really want this to be a good game. I don't even play with 95% of the people I played with D1. I don't play with them anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a pocket of friends now. I go on and maybe one page is full. Before I'd have 5 to 6 pages full.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people are definitely jumping ship.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be hard for them to try to win back players for fall 2018. Usually it was just like a small percent of players like, oh, this is a dead game and all that. But it's like whenever they just put out a tweet or something, I just click on the comments and just see, and it's just a lot of people. And I think it's going to be really hard for them to win back players with all these other games coming out.
Yeah, but I mean, is that people just being shitty because for the sake of being shitty? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or is that just people expressing their anger in just a bad way? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people get frustrated and they say the first thing that comes out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking about, okay, well, why am I upset? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think we need to look at that sometimes as, mm-hmm. you know, yeah, people are being dicks and we understand why. Other times it's just people being shitty just because we live in a society where a lot of people like to be a part of the mob mentality. Yeah. They want to be a part of something. So they'll rip somebody else down so they feel like they're on the right team.
Sorry for interrupting.
Go.
As a Destiny content creator, I've always tried to be positive about Destiny and the direction it's going, but just after update after update after update, I'm finding it so much more difficult to be positive about Destiny and not enthusiastic about something else. You know, I don't even tweet much about Destiny anymore because like I'm not excited about anything. I'm more excited about other new games and new things coming out in new games. And it sucks not feeling that excitement. And so instead of being negative, I'm just not even talking about it. Other people want to talk about it still. And so they just be negative because that's all they have to talk about.
Yeah.
So.
I did find the other US Gamer article. It's called How Destiny 2 Can Win Us Back. So I'm definitely going to be reading that. And hopefully next week and over the next few weeks we can talk about that. The next story that I am following, which is actually going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, but the president has invited major U.S. video game companies to the White House to talk with him about violence in video games and things like that.
Smokescreen, buddy.
But the thing is, it kind of caught them off guard because they never got the invitation.
Jay,
they found out about it the same time we all.
You got to learn about politics, bro. It's a smokescreen.
Oh, trust me, I know a lot about politics.
He's doing this because there's another issue at hand, and I'm not picking either side, pro-Trump or anti-Trump. I'm not picking either side. All politicians do this. They use this as a smokescreen to do something else on the back end. That's all this is.
Yeah. I agree. And as I guess I can say a journalist and someone who's really into politics, I'm really going to keep a close eye on that and see how that actually plays out because I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out.
It's a smokescreen.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to come of it.
Interesting.
The
I doubt anything's going to change. Yeah.
It's a complete joke. It really is. You know, I tweeted a long time ago and I retweeted Skill Up. I like Skill Up a lot, so I want to make sure I give him credit for this because, you know, I think somebody else said this, but I credited him. You know, loot boxes are predatory in nature because they work off of the idea that you are willing to spend money to get something. And I know we had this conversation before, which is, you know, the reason why they don't consider it gambling is because even though you're buying the loot box, you win something every single time.
Yeah.
Gambling, the definition of gambling is you have a chance to lose everything or to gain something. You know what I mean? So, you know, their big argument is, well, you know, you're getting something. It's just not that one thing that you wanted. You know, so you go spend some more money and you keep spending more money. Now, I don't understand why they're putting this on the front of the box now. All right, because we all know this is the nature of a loot box.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And as far as like kids, you're not protecting kids at all because if a kid ends up spending $1,000 on loot boxes, you don't blame the kid. You blame the parents for not locking that shit down. Yeah. Okay, it's not the kid's fault and it's not the game company's fault. It's the parents. Be an active parent. Don't buy your 15 or don't buy your 12-year-old, which I did see last week. I saw a parent, 11, 12-year-old son, they bought him GTA 5. Why are you buying that game for a child? That is not the game you buy for a kid. But you know what? The kid started complaining, Mom, I want this. Mom, I want this. Okay, fine. Here. Get the game. You blame the parent for shit like that. I'm on the boat. Microtransactions should not be in a game at all. At all. Because now what we've done as a community is we've established a bare minimum of what we are willing to put up with. So I hope you guys like the microtransactions and loot boxes because they are not going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, I disagree. I think that now that label is going to be on the front of a game, I think now companies like EA and Activision are definitely going to like take that into consideration about how it's going to play out.
There's a label on the side of cigarettes that say this will fuck you up, and people still buy it.
It's true also.
They don't care. This label does nothing. There's a label that says you will get lung cancer or you have a chance of getting lung cancer. Think about that. And people will buy 2 packs a day and smoke them because they're addicted. It adheres to the predatory nature. That's what it does. So, yeah. Dennis Leary is a comedian. He was a comedian. Oh, he is a comedian. I think he's still alive. So I don't want to say he was. He's a comedian that he flat out said you can have cigarettes that are called cancer sticks that come in a skull with crossbones on the front called tumors, and people will still buy them because they're addicted. That's what loot boxes are like.
Yeah.
They prey on the weak.
Mm-hmm.
So, the only way to fight this is to not spend money. But we all know what happened with Activision's earning call, didn't we?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, they actually made a lot of money on it.
They had the biggest quarter ever.
Yeah. Microtransactions.
Look at that.
Guys, get used to it. It's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Get used to it. Oh, wait till Star Wars Battlefront 2 rolls out with their microtransaction system. It's going to happen. Everybody thought, oh, we won something. They took it. They didn't take it out of the game. They just said we're temporarily removing it. Mm-hmm. It's coming back in. You didn't win anything. So put that shit in perspective.
That's why I never took the hashtag remove Eververse people seriously. Like that's not how you fight a battle. You fight it with your wallet. You want Eververse removed, don't contribute to it.
Absolutely.
And then it'll get removed eventually when they see they're not making money.
Yeah.
But enough people were spending stuff to where they're not going to remove it if they're making money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Eververse was just an issue to the community because it was like there was nothing else to chase, so everyone just diverted their attention to Eververse. Like, this is what we're going to chase and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I think because, Bungie made a really good cosmetic game, and all the really cool cosmetics were behind Eververse.
That's the best way to put it.
That was their focus.
Yeah.
It's if we're gonna aim our sights on a target, that's the target we aim off of.
Yeah.
Or aim at, not aim off of.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible English there.
All right, so moving on to our last segment, the last word. So again, despite all the salt that's happening in video game communities, not just the Destiny community, but there is always some type of good happening also. So tonight's last word is actually going to go to the Xbox chief, Phil Spencer, because he is calling on game companies to fix their work environment, because we all know that video game companies have a bad work environment. Some do, not all, but some do. The work environment is toxic, so he's putting out a plan to in order to fix our the toxicity in the communities, we have to start with our work environment. So that's a story I'm also going to be watching closely, because there are some small indie companies that are trying to fix things such as crunch, and just small internal problems, and hopefully that will fix some community problems and things like that. So I'm actually interested to see how that's going to play out over the course of this year. I'm really excited for that. All right, guys. So our ending question of the night will be, now, if you can live in any place of the world, where would you live? The last time I asked this question was if you could travel to any place. But now it's if you can live in any place in the world, where would you live? And why? And why? I see everyone's face. Does anyone have a thing? J-Ram, Ramez? You guys have a idea?
Yeah.
I think I have one off the top of my head.
Go, Ramez.
Maybe Seattle.
Nice.
Food, music, be closer to Bungie to give them advice on how to fix their game. So I think it's win-win for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you'd be really good at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely have experience with this game. So
yeah.
If you say something, I listen.
All right. J-Ram.
I'd live with you, Jay. Yeah, I'd be your salt and you could be my pepper.
Oh my god.
I like that. But where would I be living? Oh, okay.
Seriously? I mean, if I'm working under the assumption that my family's there and everything and all that good stuff, I really fell in love with Ireland when I went over there.
Nice.
Granted, I was there in the summer, not in the winter, so I don't know what the winters are like.
Mm-hmm.
I know Scotland is getting their asses handed to them as far as snow right now. They're getting hammered.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think Ireland would be okay because you're close enough to Europe where you can go visit a lot of different countries, but you're far enough away for if shit goes down, you're kind of secluded. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like for me, it's like going to a restaurant. Like I like going all the way in the back with my back against the wall so I can see the exits. In case shit goes down, I can get out of there real fast.
Yeah.
And I can see it coming. Maybe I'm a little paranoid.
No, I'm right with you on that one. And just in case anything goes down, you could just leave.
Yeah.
Just get out of there as fast as possible.
Grab the wife, get your shit, we're out of here. Don't worry about the check. I'll pay it tomorrow.
So for me, it could just be anywhere that's hot in the Atlantic Ocean, like the southeast of the United States, just somewhere where it's hot. I know that's like still like Hurricane Alley, I guess we could call that area, but still just somewhere where it's hot. It could be like Florida, wink wink soon, hopefully. Just somewhere where it's hot, because ever since I came back to New York, like we're currently going through a nor'easter and I hate the cold right now. It's cold.
Yeah,
it's like freezing rain, hailing, all of that. Just hate it. So I just want the hot weather. Just somewhere where it's hot. I don't know. It could be like the Virgin Islands or something, or the Bahamas, just anywhere out there where it's hot. All right, guys. So, Ramez, thank you so much for joining us this week here on the DTR podcast. It was great having you here on the show.
Thank you for having me again.
J-Ram, as always, thank you, my friend. It was great to be back with you. Great.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm glad to see you again. You're back nice and safe.
Thank you.
I needed you here.
I needed you here. We need all of us here. I've just been backed up of 2 weeks, was just so much. Just had to let it out. All right, guys. So, Ramez, I'm going to start off with you, my man. Where can we find you on social media?
On Twitch and on Twitter at Ramez05.
All right, J-Ram.
J_Rambo9119 on Twitter.
Sweet. So you guys can find Destiny Tracker on Twitter at Destiny Track, and on YouTube at Destiny Tracker, and at the Tracker Network, and me on Twitter at J_DTR. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the DTR podcast. We will be back next week with Paris. He is the host of Gamertag Radio and a Guardian Radio contributor. And then our special guest co-host next week will be Darkside Royalty Joker. He will be back next week, which is going to be a very exciting show. I'm super excited to have him back. He was great as a guest, and he's going to be a special guest co-host. It's going to be fun.
I like him.
And then again, on March 16th, we are going to have Anubis. He is the founder of Get Wrecked, which is a convention in England. And also, I think this is important info to say, but Avengers Infinity War has a new release date, everyone. April 27th. I am really, really, really excited for that movie. So, just had to put that out there, guys, if you did not know. April 27th, Avengers Infinity War. We may not even have a show that night. Like, that's how excited I am. We may not even have a show that night, because I'm trying to see that movie that Friday. We may not even have a show. Because I did see Black Panther that Thursday on the 15th, and that was awesome. So I'm really excited for Infinity War.
Dude, BP, it's dope. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. I highly recommend. If you have yet to see it, go see Black Panther, guys. And definitely go see Avengers Infinity War. Alright, guys. Again, thank you, Ramez, J-Ram, for joining us. For joining me
Ramez,
this
thank
week.
you again.
Thank you.
It was a great show. And we see you guys next week. Bye, Guardians.
Later.
Good night.